Moving on to part 2 of my Halloween special, I am now going to review the show that I was initially going to review before It's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown came into play, and that is Ed, and Eddy's Boo Ha Ha. Ed, and Eddy was one of my favorite shows growing up, and for some reason, I don't know why, but whenever I think of Halloween specials, this is always the first one that comes to mind. I'm not sure if it's my favorite, it just happens to be the one that always pops up when I think of Halloween specials first. Let's see. Okay, I always found it kind of funny. This has nothing to do with the initial special, but the director of the show, if I remember correctly, his name's Danny Antonucci. And it's funny because I used to watch a show called World's Dumbest, and one of the celebrities they had on that show, his name was Danny Bonaducci, I think. So I got them mixed up. I thought Danny Bonaducci was the guy who actually made Ed, and Eddy, and it turned out that was not the case. But it was fun to think that for a while. Okay. Starting out the special, Ed's parents, I have my notes by the way, so I'm gonna be talking from them. But Ed's parents, miraculously, especially with how strict they were shown to be in some episodes, let him stay home from school on Halloween, and he gets to watch monster movies all day, which that sounds like a pretty cool Halloween. But at the same time, I kind of feel bad for Ed because you know, if you go, usually schools allow you to wear your costumes and have Halloween parties and even parades. Mine did. At least elementary school had the parades, and then unfortunately junior high got boring and we didn't do anything on Halloween, so junior high was my least favorite. And then in high school we got to wear costumes and enjoy Halloween again during the day, so it surprised me that his parents allowed him to do that all day, and maybe hopefully Ed gets to enjoy the school Halloween festivities from now on, especially after what happens in this special. Okay, so the main story of the special is that Eddy's brother gave him a map to a magical realm called Spookyville. And that's where Eddy and his friends decide to trick or treat. However, Eddy has no excuse for not doing this since the internet was around, but he should have Googled Spookyville before he just decided to grab the map and his costume and friends and go out into the night, especially on Halloween. It's kind of a dumb move by Eddy that he didn't do that, but, you know, Eddy's shown to not be the brightest, so it gets a pass from me. Eddy goes as Zombie Elvis, Ed goes as a Viking, and Double D, he's all like, am I frightening? And he turns out, at first he looks like Throw Up, which is what Johnny says he looks like at the beginning of when we meet him in the special, but it turns out that Double D's going as the bubonic plague, and Ed and Eddy, they don't seem very scared by it, which is kind of a letdown because as an adult, and from some of the things I've experienced, especially the Ebola scare in America and around the world in 2014, that legitimately is the scariest thing I see in the special, because, like, that's a legit real-life monster, so to speak, and it has the capability of killing the entire human race, and even some animal races, so, like, it needs to be stopped. I think they've stopped it in some places, and it's, like, ending soon. But just the fact that Ed and Eddy didn't get afraid of Double D's costume, even though he was based off of the first Ebola scare, so to speak, that was actually legitimately frightening for someone like me, and I feel like his costume should have got more respect from the other kids. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm surprised Double D didn't become a hypochondriac when he was googling what the plague looks like. Given that in another episode in the series, Ed and Eddy managed to trick him into believing that he actually has another deadly disease. I don't remember the name of it, but I'm just surprised that googling the plague did not make him into a hypochondriac. Yeah, that would have been funny. Like, if they would have added, like, a minute of Double D's hypochondriac side with toning, and then, like, they prove that he's fine. He's like, oh, okay, well then let's go trick-or-treating. So, the first time we realize Ed has a problem is he runs into the Kanko sisters, and they are roasting marshmallows, and Ed has his first hallucination, and the Kanko sisters, they turn into a group of witches. And I gotta say that the witches, they look really good. Like, whoever designed them, they looked really good, and they were probably my favorite design of any monsters from the special. So during the Kanko sisters part, which unfortunately this is their only cameo in the special, they make a curse on Ed, and Eddy, and Ed, who is dressed as a Viking, he wants to Double D and Eddy and tells them what happened, and they're just like, Eddy plays along, and he's just like, it's up to you to protect us and to destroy all the monsters. And so first comes Jimmy, and there was a small detail in this because Jimmy was dressed up as an alien, and if you look at his shirt, there's a small cute little heart in the center of his shirt, and when Ed has his next hallucination about Jimmy has transformed into an alien, and if you look at the heart, it's like a skeletal kind of heart connected to the rest of the alien skeleton because the alien's body is transparent. So I thought that was a cool little detail. Like, it's not easy to see if you're not focusing on it. If you're just focusing on the big picture of the alien, you probably didn't even notice it, but I just liked the small detail of what the heart became. Let's see. Okay, another thing, because it seems that like, all these movies about alien invasions, War of the Worlds, Independence Day, and so on, like, humanity was outmatched and outgunned at every corner, and then at the very end, like, they either, like, found a way to get past the aliens' technological systems, or in terms of War of the Worlds, Al Jones killed off the aliens because they had no immunity. And then here's Ed, who he sees an alien invasion starting, so to speak. And so he just picks up a stop sign and hits the alien on top of the head, and the invasion ends. So maybe we should have just, like, sent Ed in with a stop sign in every one of those movies. Like, the aliens think they're so tough and much better than us and try to kill us. Nope, here comes Viking Ed to save the day, and it actually works. So just imagine, like, every alien invasion movie ending with Viking Ed holding his trusty stop sign. That would kind of be an awesome ending. Like, that would kind of make Ed like a superhero. Like, just have an alien invasion / superhero movie series where Ed the Viking takes his stop sign and just whacks the aliens into oblivion. I'm surprised Ed didn't take he didn't take the Oh, Double D didn't take the Pulverizer, Eddie didn't take the Pulverizer to defend themselves. Like, can you imagine how much that would have helped in the fight against all the monsters? Like, come on, Double D and Eddie. Next comes Scylla, who Ad hallucinates is a vampire, and normally she can attack and defeat all three of the ads pretty easily, but this time he manages to outmuscle his sister and take her down and actually bury her in the earth. And it was just, I think that's the first and only time that Ed has managed to get the upper hand in a fight with his sister. Next comes Naz, as the boys are running away. Double D runs into Naz dressed up as Medusa, and Naz takes Double D to go trick-or-treating, and Double D's like, but I'm expected somewhere, and I'm thinking, Double D, just go for it. Like, the other guys will understand. Like, she's single, you're single. She's the girl of your dreams. She's inviting you to go trick-or-treating with her. Go have fun, and, like, you become her boyfriend. Like, it's all worth it in the end. Okay, another funny thing about Ed's hallucination is when it comes to Naz. She is dressed up as Medusa, so when he has his hallucinations, she actually looks like the Gorgons in God of War 2 and 3, and he attacks her, and she turns him to stone, but then, just like how it works in God of War, he manages to just break through the stone and destroy it, and then he just keeps fighting her. So it's like a callback to God of War, although this was like a year before the original God of War came into play. I just think it's funny, those similarities. And continuing on with that train, he continues to fight Naz, and he closes his eyes, and it's like a quick time event from the God of War games, because he can't see, and I guess he hit square instead of hitting triangle when he was supposed to hit triangle, because he runs into a house first, and then the quick time event, it restarts, and he manages to get around the house this time. He goes into a construction site, hitting all the right buttons this time, and then he traps Naz inside, like this, I don't know what it's called. I think it's like a cement mixer, I think that's what it's called. And he traps her in cement. So, just, like, that was just like a quick time event from God of War on its own, and I loved it. Probably made it my favorite battle of the night. Let's see. Next, they come across a abandoned house, and that was the second clue on the map. The problem is, the first clue on the map was a dented stop sign, and if the abandoned house existed, why didn't the dented stop sign exist before Ed used it to beat Jimmy up with it? Like, it got me thinking, is Eddie's brother secretly psychic? Because, like, he knew about the abandoned house, but he knew they would have to find a dented stop sign, which is practically impossible, at least in a cartoon. And then defeats Jimmy with it, and it becomes dented. Like, I think Eddie's brother is psychic. Like, he saw into the future, and he saw that Ed would do that, and he made the dented stop sign the first clue that led them to the abandoned house. It's just funny to think, like, who is Eddie's brother? I know he shows up at the end of the series in the movie, but, like, we didn't really get to learn much about his character other than he was an asshole. Okay, next monster that the guys encounter is the Headless Horseman, portrayed by Kevin. And at the end, Kevin's all upset because his bike got destroyed by Ed, and it's like, Kevin, You have no right to complain, all because Ed was defending himself and his friends. You're the one who started throwing eggs at them when they hadn't done anything to you. You started the fight, and you should be willing to take the consequences of whatever comes your way. And then Ed has a funny line where he's like, "The flippers of my forefathers." And then I'm just thinking, what if it's true and Ed really does somehow have forefathers? Like, his mom just knows how to get around. Oh, okay, and next they come across Johnny, who is dressed up as a Rule 633 version of that Spyro character from Undertale. And I just thought that was funny because Ed offered him candy and he stayed nice and showed them the way they had to go. But then later on, the Spyro creature got upset at them. I just thought it was funny that he gave them the pass to go because Ed gave them candy, because in Undertale, when I played it, I didn't have enough money to give to the Spyro creature. I think her name was like Miss Muppet or something. And that ended up making me have to battle her a couple times because she kept killing me down the line. So it's like I did not have enough treats left, but when Ed encountered the Spyro creature, he did. So it's just like, maybe I should have gotten candy. Like, candy exists in Undertale too, so maybe I should have just given that Spyro creature candy when I encountered her. So this is going to be a 2-part review, and I will give my final thoughts on it in the next part.